You know, I wanted to start today's stream with one word, and that's community. The Lifer community is amazing. I know we all come here to go over the charts, but the community. You know, I used to post random pictures of my mom and my dad after I went through what I went through, and someone grabbed the pictures without me saying anything, and they made this mug for me. Mom and dad, always in my mind, forever in my heart, you know? And there's my mom. Shout out to the community. It's just crazy. Like, someone just took those pictures from the Discord and they ended up making that for me. Just blows my mind. Let's break down BTC and have a blast here. 107,450. And let's talk about it. I see a falling wedge. Falling wedges break up 68% of the time. There's a chance we get a beautiful move here further to the upside for Bitcoin. 114,000 would be basically the general target of this flag here. See that? That would be the algorithmic move. About 114, maybe 113. Yeah, 114K for BTC if this flag would decide to, you know, hold support and get a big move to the upside. We're going to talk about it, break it down, have some fun like we do every single day here, and do our top-down analysis for Bitcoin. I'm going to show you what I like, what I don't like, and what those probabilities mean based on what's happening. I'm grateful for you, Lifer, says Gregory Ralph. I'm grateful for you, man. Thank you so much for being here. I probably didn't say your Raup. I hope I said your name right. I got your back, Jeremy. No worry. You guys are funny, man. So ticket, Crypto Jeremy, man. It all started. Remember, he was all about crypto.com. So resistance here. Close above resistance. Beautiful. We just want to see the weekly candle stay above 100. And what was it? I want to make sure I'm on the dot there. The open was 104,460. Yes, 104.5. And we stay above 104,500, so be it. You know, we could slip back down to 102.5, and then your bigger level there at 98,500, right? So you can see if you slip, you are getting far away from the 21-day moving average. That's just what's starting to happen here. If I put on the moving averages for a split second, you can see that the 21 is starting to get far away, even, you know, to my standards. It can get here it wasn't too bad, but it was kind of going in a lateral form. And so that's what I would like to see. If it is going to start to move up like this, we need to see price action kind of maybe even go a little sideways and then continue up with it. They don't have to touch on the weekly, but they kind of have to move in unison. If they start getting too far apart, it's going to tell us there's going to be some type of pullback. This wick is a bit of a problem. That's a huge wick. I'd like to see us eat more of that wick up. Right now, we're in what's called an indecision doji. This is known as a reversal doji, specifically if you're pumping into it, because you're like, why are you know, it's indecision. And if you're pumping so hard, why are you now indecisive? And if you're indecisive, you know, it's like being on the altar and not saying I do. It's like, well, either you say I do or you don't. You can't be in the middle, right? Because if you're in the middle, then you're not there. So that's how this reads, kind of. If you're in the middle, then you're not bullish. And that candle could close. That candle has been known to close as a reversal pattern if it closes as such. So we will have to take that into account, and that's going to be tonight. Am I wrong? Is this really already Sunday? I just don't even... I work so much, the days blend together, I forget what happens, man. So... right there. And again, I know nothing but the fact of my own ignorance, but I'm just really good at taking advantage of when price action does make a move. I never said I knew where Bitcoin's going. Everyone's like, nobody knows. And I never said I did. 100%. I believe they're going to continue to print money over time, and I've been speculating on Bitcoin for the last 10 years, and I've been, you know, it's gone up every time, you know, over time. Like every time I've said to someone 4 years from now it'll be higher, it's been higher. Okay. Who is Jeremy, man? Shout out to Crypto Weirdo. God bless Crypto Plumber. Shout out to Mad B, and Jeremy Comfort. Bro, I collect Bitcoin. You don't even know what time it is. Shout out to everybody here on the live. You know what's cool about me is I don't have to read any of the comments at all. Isn't that crazy? I don't have to read. I mean, I will. I love you all. I don't want to disrespect my community. But if anyone was like hating or being weird, I don't even have to read it. The comments are like people walking down the street. I do not have to talk to everyone that I walk by, right? 100%. That's what I love. I'm free. Like, I do me. luckily, the comment's full of so much love and support that, of course, I want to read it and be a part of it. Like 80 to 90%. I'd say 99% of it is full of love and support. So God bless everybody in the comment section. We love you. We thank you. And we appreciate you. Shout out to the 900 beautiful souls up here on a Sunday morning for me on East Coast. Unbelievable. And I did a little later. You guys like the late. When I go 7, no one shows up. 10 a.m., we get a bigger crowd. So, so we know our levels on the weekly. We know that this could be sketchy. We know we're slightly gapping away from the 21. And I've studied that and back tested that. And you got to understand that, you know. Now look at the size of the wick. When's the last time we seen a wick this size on the 5-day chart? Right there, which gave us a weird, pretty crazy move over time. Right there, which, you know, eventually created a downfall. But it's very rare you get a wick this size. Here we had one pretty big that still went up, but it wasn't like a sustainable rally. It's very rare you have a sustainable rally after that. So it's just something to think about. I mean, yikes. And that's going to close tonight. So wow. I got to say, you know, that doesn't look amazing. That gives me bearish tones. Now, we had our first tweezer top too right here, and we talk about this. And I said, you know, we're far away from the 21 on the daily time frame. I said, look, we're probably going to make an inverted head and shoulder here. We could double top. You know what I mean? You got to be open-minded that anything is possible. Be able to make the short of your life to maybe compensate for a huge loss that you took on the side, or you never know. Or to just make massive gains, no compensation. But you got to be open-minded. I'm not a financial advisor. Another guy saying dude should be taking his financial advice. But if you're not ready for whatever could happen, but they're like, Sam, you're such a perma bull. You bought 84K, or you dream about Bitcoin. It's all about BTC, and you're a Bitcoin bull. Why are you doing this to us? You're supposed to be one way and one way only, Sam. People get like that with me, right? They can't handle the fact that I'm open-minded with the charts because they're not open-minded like me. They need to be, they're biased, and they have to have me to believe in their bias. If they're 100% bullish, I got to be bullish with them. If there's no bearishness and I'm bearish, then there's something wrong with me, you know? Now, I'm not saying we're definitely getting a pullback. There's a beautiful chance that we get an uptrending flag or a sideways flag. It doesn't mean we have to pull back. And if we do, we could still stay above 100K. As long as we pull back above 100K, I believe that's what the market's looking for. It's looking for its first pullback above 100,000. If it gets that, and look, that would take a nice, 1, 2, 3, that could take 15 days, 2 weeks of sideways price action. That would make sense. We'd slow down end of May. It is the end of May, right? It's going into June. So that's when multimillionaires and billionaires go and get on their yachts. They call in and say, hey, balance off the market. Liquidity dries up. Usually June is a slower month. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's So beautiful pump. Unbelievable. April and May were unbelievable. It was a Arab Spring for Bitcoin. Unbelievable. It was just unreal. But will it be, will it be a follow through into the summer? It looks like we're getting, I'm going to predict a 10 to 2 week day pullback here or sideways price action. I say it's very unlikely Bitcoin goes on a run again for the next, this is a leg of legs. That was one of the best legs I've ever seen in an asset this big in my life. I mean, that was insane, that rally. Amazing rally. One of the best rallies ever. Just huge. Absolutely huge. So here we are now. And you got to also look, we'll look at the daily. So starting again, a bit of a pullback as far as I'm concerned. That's what the charts are conveying to me. And it's good we're here on a Sunday morning. So when the week ahead gets ready, we're not just like, oh, we had no idea what was going to happen. Your bullish scenario, like I'm showing you, somehow, some way, you get a tweezer bottom today. Bitcoin bottoms out, and we get a bounce here. And we just consolidate on the daily. That's again about 10, 12 days. And then we just continue as business as usual. We just got a golden cross. And then support and resistance. Previous resistance becomes support. We have strong support at 105,100. And then even right here, there's some support right there. It's, tough to put it in there because it's like a lot of lines, but that's definitely support right there. You got 2 candles with resistance. As far as I'm concerned on the daily time frame, I'll take that as support. MACD getting ready for kind of, the red sign, the stochastics RSI down. And this is to me a bearish div when they both go up, but the price goes up way harder than that. If you pull this line down and you pull that line down, they'll divide somewhere around here. And if the lines divide, it's a Class C bearish divergence. Now you could say it only took us to support. Divergence is only as strong as support and resistance. When you're in a very strong uptrend, you'll dump on divergence, but only so slightly. So let's watch to see if these stochastics can reset without, much of a loss, which so far is happening pretty nicely. I mean, you went from the top dotted all the way back down to the bottom dotted. And look, you were going up as price action was going down. Very bullish sign. So I showed you some bearish scenarios to give you the heebie-jeebies. Probably scared the bejesus out of you. But now everything's kind of calming you down. You're like, okay, it's one step at a time with the lifer. I get it. The bigger time frames don't look amazing, but the daily looks like we could be getting a bit of a bounce here. So let's take a look at our 8-hour. See, as we're working through the charts now we have our data on the bigger time frames. We kind of understand what's happening. We even have key levels to watch. We know what levels the weekly, wants to hold on to, and we know where we'll go if we lose them. And then this brings me to this idea here that this is a bit of a falling wedge. And you're looking for that to break back to the top of the pattern here. Very oversold in the stochastics on the 4-hour time frame. No real divvy there. Slight divvy, but nothing too nice. Could be nicer. But what do we get? A bounce off the what? The 200 MA on the 1-hour time frame. And I'm a 200 MA guy. And what's crazy is, remember the shoulder, the right shoulder that we found last night? It went, but it did not dip. It got the bounce. So interesting enough here, Bitcoin could get a beautiful move here back to the upside today. I could see massive short squeeze today. They've been just going after whoever thinks they know what's happening. And there's definitely a lot of shorts that got made. Look, you got a head and shoulder here. So let me show you. You definitely have a bunch of shorts here. You might even have some here, and you definitely have a bunch of shorts here now and some up here. There's a lot of short liquidity waiting to be had. Again, people are going to long, but I think there's a little more fear. And so there's and people trade less. And so actively, the market was going down into the weekend. So when people were actively touching buttons, if we think it logically, we're not even into TA. Let's look at like data analyzers. How does markets move? Markets move because people touch the buttons. People touch the buttons. That creates a lot of volume. There's more volume Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if the market started moving down on a Friday into Saturday, right, when we had less volume, just think about it. It means most of the orders were created Thursday, Friday, right? And if most of the orders were created Thursday, Friday, and we were starting to move down on Thursday, then where do you think most of the stop losses are? There's less people on the weekend, so there's less people that are going to open longs just logistically, if we think about it with common sense. So it makes sense there would be more likelihood for the market to move up now based off of that. And again, I don't trade off that. I trade on TA. But if you couple the TA with some logic here, it's not far-fetched that we would shred into this area, and everyone that is hanging out with their friends, hanging out, and has a stop loss short stop loss is about to get squeezed. If we lose what I love about my trading style is I don't have to think much. I just do what the charts tell me. So here, if the 1 hour decides we're going to lose that 200 MA, then I'm going to concede that we're going down to the 2 hour 200 MA. Why did I say this? Because I've just back tested it for years. And there it will be waiting for us down there at about 105 to 50. And that will be the drop. But I'm not bearish unless the 1 hour loses it. Right now, I've got reversal on my mind. So my prediction is when I come back here tonight at 8 p.m., let's take a look at 8 p.m. And I put my butt on the line here. We'll see what happens. I could get served. But that's 8 p.m. tonight. And I have this fun game where I put a rectangle only on the weekends because And again, something could change in the trade. You know, I could see something like we could lose the 2 MA, close a candle below there, and then I'm going to be like, hey, everyone, and then I could see a bear flag of the 5 and say, hey, I'm going short right now. And everyone's like, but, you know, on the live stream, you said we're going up. But in the Discord, I called the short because price action is going to change, right? We don't know what's going to happen for sure. But it looks like we could be crawling on out of here. Hypothetically, this is the shoulder. This will be the head. It will make a right shoulder. And we'll start to break out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that could take a long time. We'll break out. Boom, boom. Yeah, and that's going to take, you know, it's going to be 10 hours from now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me make sure that's the right. No, that's Monday. I'm about to say, that looks too far away. I'm bugging. I was about to say something ain't right there. I was like, it'll only maybe make a right shoulder. Yeah, there we go. Funny, just because I know even how price action works, I was like, it takes way too long. Yeah, it doesn't take that long to make the right shoulder. Looks like we'll be making the right shoulder tonight, and maybe fireworks start Sunday night, and that's when we start to squeeze. You know. Again, we could easily bearish 3. So here's the deal. If we lose the 200 MA on the 1 hour, Sammy's going to flip bearish. Look for bear flags on the 5 minute. Look for continuation down to the 200 MA on the 2 hour time frame. Flip to the 2 hours. Look, it's going to go to that. That's what happens. Once you lose an hour, a 1 hour 200 MA, you slip to the 2 hour 200 MA. Trust me on this. Just how price action works. So yeah, I'm looking for this here. I'm looking to be in the green box tonight at 8 p.m. when I show up. All right. My wife has a friend here visiting with her, you know, so that's why she's not yelling at me right now. Otherwise, it would be Sunday, and she'd be staring at me like, so I got a little extra time with y'all right now because she's distracted with a friend. Okay. Shout out to you guys. Yeah. Powell speaking today is at a university. It's all right. I mean, whatever. He does it all the time. There may be a sway. You never know. People will be listening. You never know. I'm going to leave it alone, right? I'd rather not pay attention to what he's, you know, but if there's some summarized, you know, article, I'll probably chime in there and read it. Remember, see here, we have this tree. You could always just delete or add things you want. You could put things that you, say you wanted to do analysis on 2 different time frames. But look, now when you go to like the daily, like the 1 hour gets in the way, it just doesn't look good. And you want to look at it. So what you could do is you can go here to this layering icon. You could hit everything that you've made, right click it and hit create a group of drawings. And then you could even name the group of drawings, right? 1 hour TA, right? And now you got the 1 hour TA. And what's cool about it is you can turn it on and off whenever you like, just with a button. And then you can look at your TA. And, you know, I just use different. I like to use just, you know, like I'll use the Binance chart, I'll use the BitGet chart, I'll use the Bybit chart. For me, it's just easier. You know, the weeks chart. It's just easier for me. So that's what I'm seeing here is a possible move to the green box. Yeah. And shout out to everyone that's serious about their trading, serious about their business, and serious about getting their money and taking care of their family. Their wives look up to them because they're, you know, they're successful men that do the do. God bless everybody out here that takes it seriously. All right. Thank you so much for being real, because we need more real men in this world to build great families. All right. And shout out to the women that are watching, that are building their, you know, just their knowledge, learning, and helping their families too. All right. There's so many crypto lifers out here that I meet that blow my, they exceed what I expect out of the normal person. They're amazing. I can't wait to see each and every one of you. Bitcoin Las Vegas, still time. There's still time to jump in to Bitcoin Las Vegas and jump on in and get a ticket. So there you go. There's the QR code. Hit the link to Bitcoin Las Vegas. Pretty cool. They're finally doing it in Vegas, baby, in just 3 days from now. All right. I will be flying into Vegas. Get there, I think, at about 2:30 in the afternoon. So can't wait to see each and every one of y'all that is going. We have a meetup planned too, a private meetup we got going on that we put out. And so that's going to be awesome. It's going to be somewhere in the Venetian. God bless everybody out here who's going to go. I can't wait. And God bless everybody that's watching the stream. But if you're going to fly, just, you have a safe flight. Make sure you have safe travels. God bless your travels is what I want to say there to everyone going. So Bitcoin looks interesting. 107,000 seems to be strong. 106K bounce. Only time will tell. What's the bearish scenario? Well, let's take a look at the smaller time frame. What's happening here? I mean, the 15-minute would just continue to collapse. The 15-minute already kind of got a little bearish when it lost the what? The 200 MA. That was your first sign of collapse here. All right. Beautiful flag. It was, oh man. And then they did the right shoulder. And that's how you knew to bail right there. That right shoulder, 7 in the morning. Sayonara, senorita. So we look here. This can get all the way up to about, 111,600 for Bitcoin. We get the moves here. Looking for that. I'm looking for the right shoulder. To me, it looks definitely more bearish. The bulls have to show up and step up. We got resistance now at 107.8 basically. So the bulls are the ones that have to show us something. It's not the bears. The bulls have to come through and make that right shoulder, get that push further to the upside and make bacon on the beach here. Look at the bearish div up there too. And the stochastics say we're about to dump. And, that looks like, if anything, you would go back to the bottom of the pattern pretty fast. Yeah, so it's not all love. And again, you can see where we likely drop right to 105,130. Let's take a look at BOOKMAP. BOOKMAP had some short squeeze, but right there, 106K. It's got more liquidity to the downside right now than to the upside. So suggesting that if we go anywhere, we go down. So BOOKMAP also on the down party idea here. And Bitcoin already slipping a little bit, 107,300 for BTC. So no flag, nothing looks amazing on the small time frames too. Looks like it's rolling over, bearish engulfing candle as we speak. As we talk about the bearishness, it's like someone's like, okay, I'll sell with you, Sammy. That's crazy. So that bigger falling wedge, it does break out 68% of it. But right now, the smaller time frames look like garbaggio, right? I mean, look at that. It's like a head and shoulder kind of thing. Shoulder, head. It just looks, it's losing the 200 MA resistance at 107.8. 107,000, 799 there, really. So, wow, Bitcoin. But you got to make that right shoulder. How else? My trader instinct tells me we're dumping down here and to look out for price at about 106,600. So, and that could even be head and shoulder-esque, right? So honestly, I wouldn't long or scalp along unless we break back above 107,841, really, right? Because you want to see that breakout. Otherwise, the bears are in control. So, and let's see. I mean, we are above. We did my strategy. Look at my strategy playing out this morning, though. If all you knew was how to buy above the 200 MA and you used one indicator on one time frame, the 1 minute, when this candle opened, it would have got up here. That might have got you stopped out, but that one would have paid you so well. Probably should have taken care of both. And it eventually made a flag. And if you waited for price to cross the 21, if you wait, basically my model is to wait for price to touch the 21. So once this candle started touching the 21-day moving average, you get in above the 200 MA and you're gone. That's still in the positive right now, that trade. You see? Nice little rip up for Bitcoin there. And weekend trading is heavy volatile. Like if I hadn't traded all week, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to go start trading on the weekend. I'm actually going to leave the trades alone. I'm going to give my mind a really good rest from the market. Take 5 or 6 hours just from not looking at the charts, hang out with my family. We're going to have a big get together today at my house. Fajitas, a bunch of people are coming over. It's going to be a blast. So yeah, I'm going to deliberately take some time. I was a little, I got a little nauseous last night. I work myself to the bone 7 days a week. I'm going to use this as God's given day to take a rest. I'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. All right. And if I see anything in the charts, I'll let you know. Take a look at what altcoins are kind of showing strength. I could go through altcoins all day and give you guys the hottest coins and the hottest gains, and I probably will no matter what I say. But I'm going to attempt to take a little bit of time off. Hyperliquid just continues to pump, though. Ups, that's beautiful to see. Forum has been on the radar. Interesting. Nothing else crazy. Hyperliquid literally taking the cake. Sweet. A bunch of coins are still holding their gains pretty nicely. Even Trump coin at $12. Solana 171. You can't beat that. Yeah, I trade copy views. Oh gosh. Okay. Sweet 350 Pendle. Pendle always seems to get a bit of a move, but I haven't looked at Pendle in a while. So last time I put out Pendle, I put out a buy somewhere at about 340 with a stop below $3. It got to the low of 313, but never stopped you out, and then ripped to the first target at 475. Look at that. I love when I just see a coin I haven't touched in a while and you can see my work. And again, it doesn't always have to stay perfectly in the pattern, and they're going to stop hunt. The key is, can your stop be lower than the average? Because they're going to go after everybody else. But if you aren't as greedy as everybody else, he hit me one day. I said, man, my dad taught me not to be greedy. I said, wow, the people that aren't greedy end up with the most money. And I said, how does that make any sense? I said, because I didn't chase money, I found out how to chase a skill, and then the skill ended up paying me, right? But everyone else that chases money may never develop a skill that gives them as much money as my skill did, right? Again, I'm talking about myself, but it's my life story. I'm just thinking about what my dad told me and how you could relate it to your own life. And so it's all about perfecting a skill, doing the same thing every single day. As boring as that sounds, that's what makes the difference between amazing people and regular people. A regular person does something for just so long and eventually gives up and goes to something else. An extraordinary person can work at the same thing for years at an end until they get they just perfect the craft to another level. And everybody loves that. Like, the human race loves that. They asked Americans what is their favorite thing about anything, about any product, anything that they like. And Americans said consistency. They're in love with consistency. If you can give your clientele, the people that love you, your community, consistency, they will be here for you for the rest of your life. All right? So it's just absolutely beautiful. It is boring, it can be boring to do the same thing over and over again, but that's how perfection works. Think about it. You go to the gym. It's not that exciting to pick a weight up and do this. But if you pick a weight up and do this over and over again, you're going to have a big arm. You know what I'm saying? Like, consistency pays over time. And everyone thinks success is this one big moment where everybody wins at once. And it's just this blast, but it's not. It's day in and day out struggling over time. Yeah, I see a dump here back to the bottom of this pattern. Otherwise, they're just kind of flushing. They're trying to induce some shorts here to get a pump, but... And again, I can't trade every single day of the week. I could, but I choose not to trade every single day of the week. There's got to be some time for your mind. Even you, all of us. Every one of us has to take some moments off. Or otherwise, it's just going to be like, what's the point of even trading and making money if all you're doing is trading and making money? You know what I'm saying? It's got to be a moment where you smell the roses, take a deep breath, and it can't just be like once a month too. Like, there's got to be a consistency to how you relax. You got to schedule relaxation. Very, very important to schedule relaxation on this Sunday as we talk here. See, I would watch the altcoin setups even that I put out with Bitcoin fumbling around here. We get back above 107.8, then the altcoins can probably get a bump again. So we'll see. I mean, can we make this high or low and get out of this? You say this is like a symmetrical triangle, you see? Yikes. I'm more bearish than bullish on Bitcoin. Go to the gym every day, just like Sammy. Hey, God bless you, man. Thank you. I don't go to the gym. I work out from home, but I work out every day. Your success is a lagging indicator of your consistency, 100%. If you're consistent, then over time, you'll look back and be like, wow. So this is what happened to me, everybody. I'm going to give you how to become, I'm going to give you the lessons to life. All of us start as babies. Then we move on to adolescence. We're 8 years old, 9 years old. We find out kind of a little bit what we're good at. Like I was really good at Legos and math at that age. So I could tell I was going to do something type, Then I started playing around with computers when I was 12. And so, luckily I was of an age where the computer was a little, just coming out though. It was really big at the time. I had one of the first Apple computers, the Centrus AD. It was crazy, the 660. One of the first Apple computers ever with floppy disk, all that, Carmen Sandiego, crazy. But so then you turn into an adolescent to 14 or 15 and you kind of find out your strengths. There I did find out my strengths, but I went through a lot. And I struggled and I went through ups and downs. Hopefully other people can kind of really, at that point, I saw people who became the person they were supposed to be at that point. I did not. I fell short. And I kind of went into I don't know. Just, my 20s were filled with I don't want to get into it, but they weren't the best. There was great moments though. I didn't start really working out and taking care of myself. I went to the gym and worked out in college, but once college ended, I got into a lazy lifestyle. I just didn't have a good mentor. I didn't, for whatever. I mean, excuses. I had excuses. That's all I got to say. I don't have nothing else to say. But anyway, so we move through life. What I'm trying to explain to you is eventually there's a line in the sand where you desire the person you want to be and you can't get there. And you know who you want to be and you know you want to be amazing and you know you want to reach these high potentials, but you just can't seem to, And it's you blaming the world. Oh, I can't work out because, my job makes me tired and I just don't have time. I can't eat healthy because I keep going to my buddy's house. Then my mom cooks and it's so hard. And next thing you know, I'm tired and it's just so hard to eat. I know I got to eat the right things, but just so many, I keep, it's all everyone around me. Everyone makes these excuses for why they can't look the way they want to look, feel the way they want to feel. And eventually when you're eating wrong, not sleeping right, you eventually start feeling wrong. And then when you think and then you look in the mirror or and you see who you are, and then you see someone in the street who you can say that person's in perfect shape, they're taking care of themselves, and damn, what am I doing? Why can't I do that? Right? I feel like the dunce with the hat on. But the point is, I eventually realized it was all about being in the present moment. So once we come here and we say, okay, my name is, whatever your name is, and I'm in the present moment. I'm not going to think about all the things that I failed in the past because that's over now. I'm in the present. I'm not going to think about how scary the future is. The future is scary to people who have failed in the past. They've told themselves numerous things and they haven't done it. So the future looks really scary because for the last few years, they haven't done what they say they're going to do. That was me. I'm telling you my life story. Say I'm going to go to the gym next week. I see someone who has perfect abs. I was a little overweight, just kind of skinny fat, knew I needed to kind of tighten up. And I was I'm going to go to the gym next week or tomorrow, this Monday, I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to change my life. And I didn't, I didn't do it. It just didn't happen. And then I was next week, I'm going to change my life, and a month later, and then eventually just the same thing over and over again. Kind of crazy. Insanity. I lived an insane life where I desired change, but did not want to make the moves to do it. And this is the same thing with trading because people desire, so I desire change in my physicality. I wanted to change the way I felt and looked, and I wanted to have vibrance every day, be able to push myself every day. So I know I had to work out. I know I had to find mentors that worked out. I knew how to hang out with people that worked out. I eventually got, by the grace of God, just someone in my life happened to be all about working out, and they became someone I really became good friends with, and that had a huge impact on my life. That didn't happen, who knows what will, but and I needed that extra push, and it really did change my life. Shout out to Marcus, my man, who's now in the trading group. And now I say, hey, I'm going to do the same for you the way you did for me, but I'm going to teach you trading the way you taught me how to take care of my body. And I told him the workouts are how I ended up changing my life. I said, if you didn't teach me how to work out, I never would have changed my life the way I did. I said, I really to this day believe the reason why I'm so successful and have, things are going my way is because I continuously work out every day. When the market struggles, that looks like an inverted head and shoulder that may give us what we need. When we cross the 200 MA on the 3-minute time frame, the 5-minute time frame, then I know we can make a long. See? Yeah, and I eventually did. I moved to Boston and I got rid of everyone in my life that I hung out with. I had no one to hang out with. Maybe that's good for people. I isolated myself from the world and asked myself who I truly wanted to be and where I truly wanted to go. And I believed I wanted to be a leader online. And I began to lead online. And being a leader is someone who serves others. That's another thing. People think that when you're a leader, that everyone serves you, but it's no. Serving others is your true role as a leader. Every day you serve somebody, you help somebody, you do something for somebody else. And people see that, and that creates value. Your value as a leader is your honorability. People say, hey man, look at that guy. He was sick last night. He still went live. Look at that guy. He lost, blah, blah, blah. He told us exactly what happened. He wasn't afraid to tell us the loss. Look at that guy, whatever it is. But when you're honest, when you're out there, when you share your life, the universe knows who's fake and who's real, man. You can fake it to the people. And there will be some people that might buy your slop, but eventually it's going to catch up to you, right? So either you're the real deal or you're not. And either you're living a real life or you're not. And, for years I lived a fake life where I told myself I was going to do things, then I didn't do them. I lost respect for myself. I was two people. The guy who knew who I should be and the guy who couldn't get there. And it was and you know what that creates? Dis-ease. That actually creates sickness, cancerous tumors. Because you know who you should be, but you refuse to get there. Oh my God, what a horrible feeling. And to me, that is hell. I lived hell on earth, and it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about anything else. It was about battling my mind and not being able to control myself. Not being able to discipline myself properly. Waiting for motivation. Motivation never comes, my friends. Actions follows motivation. As long as you keep taking action. Look, how did I stay motivated these last 5 years on this live stream? How did I push 7 days a week? Because I just kept showing up. I know that if showing up will break the monotony of my, whatever's in my mind, and it will create motivation. I'm teaching you this is the secret to life. Like, I'm giving away the secret to life. This is the secret to becoming great at trading. The secret to discipline, because I'm giving you, work out every day, get the mind flowing. You'll have the discipline. You'll be more disciplined to take profits when you're up. Someone who's worked out and has discipline working out, I firmly believe will have more discipline when it comes to taking profits. They go hand in hand because it's all about being humble. When you work out, you put yourself through pain so you look, you're in shape and you look better later. It's also really good for your heart to pump the blood, to keep yourself moving every day. If you love yourself and you care about your heart, then you would work out every day, or at least 5 days a week, and do physical action when you can. Anyway, I take a holistic approach to trading here on the Crypto Lifer channel. What does that mean? The holistic approach means we go over the whole thing. Holistic, right? We cover everything. We don't just go over one part of who you are, because who you are is attached to your trading. If you have a belief that you don't deserve anything in life, you've been abused and your chakras have been broken, then when your trades are up, you're probably going to muck them up and turn them into losses because you don't deserve the money, you say. Your thought process of you will only go as high as you believe you deserve to go. Facts. Isn't that crazy? There could be a punt, what if let's just say you worked at a company and let's just say I was the boss and I had dreams and hopes for you. I really thought you were one of the best. And I was like, man, once he does those couple sales, I'm going to introduce him to this other thing and I'm going to take him to the world. Like, I actually see him as like, I want to move him to VP. He doesn't know this, but I've been watching him and I'm about to take this kid to the top. But you think you suck and you're not going to make it, and you start doing drugs, hanging out with people, crash your car, end up like, and I eventually have to let you go, right? You become a liability to the company. No matter how much I believe in you, it doesn't matter if you don't believe in you. And that's just the story of life. And I hope that doesn't happen to everybody. I'm going over a hypothetical story, right? But it's just the point of, it doesn't, if the world, and again, this goes hand in hand the other way. So if everyone believes you're amazing, or you can do it, and you don't, and you get into self-doubt and negative talk and go down the tubes, it doesn't matter how many people believe in you, does it? It goes the other way too. If everyone believes you suck and you can't make it, and you're nothing, but you believe you're something, it doesn't matter what they believe, does it? No. See, I just flipped your mind with that little, see how I did that? So now you realize that it doesn't matter what anyone ever thought of you ever, because it never mattered. Once you're free of what anyone else ever thought of you, you can begin to truly build your destiny and go after who you want to become. Because it doesn't matter anymore what they're thinking of you. I wear the suits every day. When I first did it, some people laughed at me. Look at the monkey. They said, look at the guy in the monkey suit. It still throws people off. I do the announcer voice because I have a cool voice and I like to do it. And I worked on it for years and it's fun. And people think it's, look at this guy with, and I don't give a dang what people think about me. Because they're going to think about me no matter what. They're going to have something to say. So I'm going to do me. It doesn't matter. It's a waste of mental energy. It's a waste of my time, just like it's a waste of yours. It's time for you to grow. It's time for you to become who you want to become. It's time for you to stop caring what the world thinks and stop putting in the work, man, and women and everyone out there. And most of you do. I believe that. And I don't know why I'm preaching today, but it's Sunday. You can see kind of low volume. We're seeing if we can get this inverted head and shoulder to break out here on the 3-minute time frame. Bitcoin hugging 107K with some wicked action here. Chance we do get the reversal. This would be amazing if we get this double bottom push out from 106.850 there. All right.
Spread your love. And hear what
You're funny. I like that. I think you're unstoppable. You need to challenge yourself more. Hey, man, I like that.
spread your love.
And again, you just keep pushing yourself every day, no matter what. All right. You don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. That's why working out every morning is so important. It's so important. It's such a foundation. Because it's the first thing in the day you say, I'm going to work out, and then you're doing it. My wife sees me, I'm like, she's watching me say I'm going to do something, and she sees me doing it. And she sees me putting in every single thing I have into that workout, right? That's definitely, your wife's going to be attracted to you when she sees that. People have problems in their marriage. Show your significant other that you do what you say you're going to do. That's people are attracted to that. That'll fix your relationship. A lot of stuff will come with you once you get committed. Everything will fall into line. Amen. But I'm going to leave with that today on this beautiful Sunday as I'm basically preaching a sermon. And look at this, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. God bless everybody here on the live. We thank you. We appreciate you. And yes, so we're watching Bitcoin. All the altcoins are watching BTC, seeing what's about to happen. Let's take a look at TARS AI. I'd like to see if Pendle could get a bounce there. But it did hit the first target, and it's in an uptrend, just to be clear. Pendle had bottomed all the way down there at about, 193, and it ripped all the way to 477. Let's look at our baby TARS AI. So even TARS AI kind of just sideways, but still in this beautiful flag. And again, it could easily, you never know. I've seen Bitcoin dump and then TARS AI will dump down. You never know. Always have a stop, always have a plan. Never go all in, Again, do whatever makes you happy. I'm not a financial advisor, but this is what I'm looking at for TARS AI. I still like it, but we had a nice little pump. Things were looking good, but couldn't hold the pump. We're still getting tighter and tighter in the zone. I keep watchful eye on this with the alerts. Bitcoin kind of gets the bounce, then TARS AI does too. Back to Bookmap, it suggests that we do dump down to 106,000. It says that's where the most liquidity is. So be careful. That's what we're looking at. It could be a really big dump tonight too. So just be careful. Right now, the Bears are in control. The Bulls have to get us back above resistance at 107.8. They got to get us back above the 200 MA here. It's the Bulls. The Bulls have to show up. The Bears already kind of made their mark. And, you know, with that 3-day chart, that red candle on the 3-day, there's some bearishness looming. So, everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And for this beautiful 1-hour morning update. I do an update like this every single day to the trading group. It's usually about a 3 to 7 minute update on Bitcoin, where I basically go from the weekly down and give my, final idea of where Bitcoin's likely going to go on the day. This helps us assess the market and then go from there of where we're going to go with the altcoins and what trades. Then I scan the altcoins and look for opportunity, and that's kind of how the trading group works every single day. At night, I do the same thing. On the weekends, I do it for free just to show people, hey, these are the updates you'd be getting. You'd get all this insight in your pocket, in your Discord, every single day, Monday through Friday. So God bless everybody here. Thank you for jumping on in. If you like what I just said and that's interesting to you, go to cryptolifer.com. All right? Go to cryptolifer.com. Let me show you. cryptolifer.com. And I will see you there. There you can subscribe to a monthly, a quarterly, or an annual subscription. I'm here every single day, no days off, 7 days a week. It does not stop. I have an elite group of traders. We've got a lot rocking our way. And we got people scanning the market. I have a course inside of there that you would basically have to pay for, but it's only for $99 a month. You have access. I like this inverted head and shoulder. This is the prediction that we will get the move. If it breaks out of the 3-minute, I've been using the 3-minute on BitDinex recently. It's been working great. And 108,226. So cryptolifer.com, Rave Sound Records. Thank you. Shout out to everybody here. Randy, Alvis. Now let's take a look if there's any fan funding. Usually not on the weekend, but we'll take a look here. Go to the gym. Thank you. And thanks for everything. Shout out to both of you for saying thank you. Gratitude your way. May God bless each and every one of you for being here. And I'll see everyone tonight at 8 p.m. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Enjoy your day. Take some time for the charts if you can. It's hard for me, but, I'm going to. And may God bless everybody. I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you. Oh, I got to say goodbye from the big window now. That was a small goodbye. Now we do a big goodbye. Remember, I studied all the millionaires and multi-billionaires and people that made everything, even school teachers. They didn't have to make tons of money, but they changed people's lives. Anyone that did anything amazing, I consider a success if that's what they start out to do. And the secret to success for all those people, for everyone, anyone that ever made it, multi-millionaires that started companies, Ronald, the McDonald guys, right? McDonald, all that stuff, anyone you talk about in the world. What is the secret to success? The secret to success is getting started.